Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar on consumer home care marketing that makes your phones ring. I know that your time is extremely valuable, but I feel pretty certain that what you will learn today will prove to be wise usage of your time. For today's presentation, you may have noticed that I have placed everyone on mute mode, so we cannot hear you talk, but we've just done this to reduce some background noise in case anybody joins us a little bit later. However, if you have any questions during the presentation or at the end of the presentation, you will note a little chat box off to the right of your screen. Please feel free to type your questions in there and we will answer those questions for you. Now, today's webinar is a look inside our popular monthly marketing, sales, and design program that really allows you to focus your efforts and best compete in today's very crowded home care market. My name is Marissa Snook, and I am a co-managing director at Core Cubed, and I also am the administrator for the MOST program. And I have been working in home care marketing since 2005 and have been with the MOST program since its inception in 2007. And I love home care agencies tout what wonderful services they have and help the community realize what a wonderful agency they are. Also with us today, our featured speaker, Marilee Orsini. She is the president and CEO of Core Cubed and really a pioneer in the home care industry. Marilee started her own home care agency back in 1981, ran it very successfully for over 17 years, and then she transferred her passion for home care into working with agencies all across the country to help them grow through strategic marketing practices. And Marilee's ideas of how she marketed her agency back a long time ago was the foundation for the MOST program. And without further ado, Marilee, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Marissa, and thank you so much for attending today. I know that your time is valuable, and so as Marissa says, we will make this worth your time. Although I was in home care and servicing customers, it's been a long time ago now, 20 years actually, the basics to selling home care services have not changed. What's changed is how we do that. And this first visual here has to do with the marketing and sales process. And what I want you all to take away from this is that today we are going to specifically talk about consumer marketing, business to consumer marketing, your business, the home care agency, marketing to the consumers who might have a need for your services. And so that whole point of marketing to consumers is really having them find you when they first become aware of their need, because once they become aware that they have a need, then they are going to start searching for how to solve the problem. And so what we're talking about today in the marketing process, we're not going to talk that much about the sales process because it happens later, but the marketing process is making certain that your agency is one of those that the person who is searching for care actually considers to be one of the agencies that they call about. And so that's really what we're going to talk about today is this whole concept of consumer marketing and how do you get the phones to ring. It's a lot more complicated than it used to be, but it is doable. So first let me just talk about just this slide for a minute, which really has to do with what happens when someone thinks that they may have a need for care. And there can be lots of reasons for that, but at that point in time, they do have a decision to make. And if it's an emergency need, they're probably going to try to come back home if possible, although the hospital may try to, if they have to go to the hospital might shuttle them into another place. But they really only have two choices at this point. That choice is, are they going to stay at home with care, or or are they going to move elsewhere to get that care? So once people become aware of a care need, that's that consumer you're trying to reach. And at that point in time, they really don't know what they need. Unless they've been through this before, it's going to be all new to them. I'm fond of saying that home care requires at-need marketing, and it is an at-need service, because what I mean by that is people really don't pay much attention to what options are available for care until they have that need. So this is the way to find the consumer. That's what has changed. Probably 99% since I provided home care 20 years ago. But this is really this decision-making process is where you want to find that consumer, reach that consumer, and there are ways to do that. And let me just talk about some of this process again in this purchasing process and them considering and them finding you. The consumer, when they are starting to process what are their options and who are they going to call to find out more, there are a couple of things that that they are going to be looking for. One is there is clearly a rationale behind what types of services you're looking for. I mean, what does it cost? That's one of the things that we hear the most of, particularly in private pay, because people are shocked, frankly, at the cost and that they have to pay for it because so much of our care needs are met or previously had been met through insurance. I think people are becoming a little more cognizant now of the fact that there is a cost involved in care because a lot of people's insurance plans have changed where they have a higher deductible or they're paying a higher copay. So cost is something that that people are going to consider, and obviously they may have a limited amount of money, and so cost might be a primary consideration for them. But you have the hard fact rationale component of the decision making that is going to go into their buying rationale. But the other thing is, and this is where really people make decisions. People make decisions based on how they feel in their gut, on how things strike them, on how, in talking to someone, how it makes them feel, on how when they look at a piece of marketing material, what does that look like and how does that feel and does that answer their questions. So there's a lot of psychology that goes into the purchasing of home care services for that consumer, and for that consumer to consider even whether your agency is the one that is going to be picked that they're going to call and find out more information about. So these are important things to remember. Again, it's become a lot more complicated because of technology and how people search. So but there are ways to do this, and the way is you engage with emotions, that's meeting that psychological need, and then you justify that need with facts and numbers. So they may be what they are thinking about, that rational side. That's where you bring in fact sheets, your service listing, your certifications, you may have credentials, best practices, those kinds of things. But the feeling that they get is going to be what they see, what they find that actually answers the questions that they have. Do they get an idea that you do focus on quality? Because this is care for someone very, very important to them, so quality is going to be inherent in what they're looking for. But the thing is, they also need guidance. They need helpful information. They need to know that they are going down the right path to that decision, and if that decision is home care, which you hope it is, then they want to feel good about that decision, and they want to come to that decision themselves based on what they're reading and what they're seeing. So just back to my buying circle. So that first thing in between when they are understanding or thinking they may have a need for care and when they actually are considering which agencies to call, what are they looking for? Well, they are clearly looking for information that outlines their issue, their specific issue. If their mother has Alzheimer's disease or dementia, they are not going to be interested in COPD or CHF or any other problems that someone might have that's seeking care. They're only going to be interested in what meets their needs, what solves their problem, and in order for them to pick up that phone and call you, they are going to have to know that your agency does provide those things and knows how to handle that specific situation for that particular person's mother. So how have things changed so much, this 99% I said? Well, it pretty much comes down to the fact that information searching now is mainly done online. And we are seeing this grow every year. Every year there are more people online, and every year more people are buying things digitally, or at least researching what they're going to buy digitally. And some of these are specific statistics that has to do with senior care, and this one, it just jumps out at you. 60% of the people searching for senior care, I believe this is a caring.com stat, 60% of those people had no knowledge of their local care options. So they are starting from scratch. They know nothing, and you have got to convince them in their search process to give you that call. And 73% of those people searching for home care start with a generic search term, such as home care. And this is really where you need to focus a lot of your energy for the consumer. Probably almost most of your energy is making certain that you are giving them an online experience that will have them consider your agency as one of those they're going to call for care, and hopefully then you can get that in-home assessment. And but right now what we're talking about is just making that phone ring. So when I am talking about digital, I am talking about content. And there's lots of different ways to add content. Relevant here is the important word, because content for content's sake doesn't mean anything. It really does have to answer their questions. It has to be what we call a value added. And the positive thing about having relevant content that's also helpful on your website and other places that interrelate with your website, the important thing about that is that in addition to having it be helpful to those people, the consumers who are searching for care, it also works to have your site ranked on search engines. We're not going to talk about SEO today, but that is an added additional benefit. Actually, it's more than an added additional benefit. I would say it is imperative now that you have relevant content and that you use the different methods that will help your site get found online, because that's where people are searching. So what types of things am I talking about? Well, I've talked about helpful resources, so I'm not going to go into specifically what those things are, because Marissa's going to cover a lot of the options that we have available through the MOST program, which certainly satisfy that need. And those helpful resources in a variety of formats need to be available, both on your agency website and other places on the internet where people are searching. So you can also do presentations, which still are something that people really do like to attend. Now, the presentations are generally not about what your agency does, although you can certainly, in a question and answer session, you can answer their questions about what your agency does. But these are presentations that actually talk about things that people who are seeking home care might be looking to find out. So answers to their questions. So whether it's about what are the different kinds of care that's available and who pays for them and what's appropriate for whom, you can do presentations on an unlimited number of topics. Something related to Alzheimer's or dementia is always a favorite, because about half of the people that you care for probably are going to have some type of Alzheimer's related dementia or dementia. So that's always something that family and that professionals are interested in. But once you have that presentation scheduled, that's when you go back online and you actually utilize all different types of ways to share that information. What that does is it not only solidifies that you know what you're doing and your agency knows how to provide that care, and your agency is up to date and informed. But what that also does is allows you to use that information in a variety of different ways online. So different types of listings, different types of reviews, not only of your services, but also any of the presentations that you might give, and that falls into that relevant content category. There's blogging, there's social media, there are media posts you can do on care issues, linking and cross-linking and linking. So regularly cross-promoting events and regularly cross-promoting anything that you offer on your website. And then there's also landing pages and contact forms, which actually work to satisfy a particular need, bring someone into specific information, and then have them follow right through to contact you. So the relevant content portion of being online is probably the most crucial thing right now that you could do and that you need to do in order for your phone to ring, because consumers need to be able to find you and they need to be able to have their questions answered. Now, Google loves fresh content from quality sites that engage customers. And so why do we care what Google loves? Well, we care what Google loves because Google is pretty much in charge of how you find things on the internet. Yes, there are other search engines, but Google is the biggest one, and if you make Google happy, then you're going to make the other search engines happy as well. And so this is really just a reinforcement that relevant content, fresh relevant content, unique relevant content is something that is going to work wonders to get that phone to ring, because consumers are going to be finding that content, reading that content, sharing that content, and then following up to call your agency. Now, some of the tricks here to use your content, instead of using it once, you can actually use it multiple times. You can interrelate that content and the engagement of that content, and you can increase your impact. And that's a fairly complicated thing to do, but it is something we do fairly well here because we've certainly been doing it a long time. So let me just recap briefly. This is a very truncated version of how to get the phone to ring, but Marissa's going to go very specifically into some of the things that our MOST program does that will help you accomplish this, because it isn't an easy task, and you should be spending your time creating a quality service, working on how you provide the service and how you determine quality, and getting the best caregivers possible so that you are keeping those clients happy. So how would I say, and what do we recommend here at Core Cubed in our MOST program for making those phones ring? Well, if you haven't gotten this yet, then I'm going to say it again. You need to have a good website. And that website needs to not only be fully functional, but it needs to be, I'm going to use organically optimized, which is an industry marketing term, but what that means is that relevant content needs to be focused on the keywords that people are searching for, and your website needs to use those keywords, not overuse them, but use them in a format that will help your website get found on search engines. And that website needs to be up to date. It needs to be, it needs to make certain that everything on it works functionally, because you do not want to have malware deposited on your website by someone through some loophole because you have an out-of-date website. So that goes along with being user-friendly. The other thing is that your website needs to be mobile enabled. Now, statistics don't show yet that the senior care market is using the mobile phones as much as we had anticipated that they would, but the other side of this is that Google is emphasizing mobile enabled as something that they will give you a higher ranking if your site can be viewed appropriately on different size screens, whether it's a mobile phone or a tablet or a PC. So the number one most important thing, and where you have to start with this, is having a really good website that is a base for all of these online relevant content kinds of things that I'm talking about. I mentioned the good targeted keywords, and that sounds easy to do, but I will tell you that depending on where you are and depending on when it is, that these keywords change. We see these keywords change on a fairly regular basis. We do monitor that, so we are keeping abreast of it, but you know, the industry is maturing and the industry is changing, and more people are finding out about home care. And if you look at the demographics, more people are getting older, more people are living longer, so there are more people that need care. So it's only logical that they are going to start searching differently as the numbers grow and as more people are searching for care. Blogging regularly is probably the most important thing that you can do. And again, it needs to be relevant content, but blogging does allow you to have your website updated frequently, and it also is answering those questions that people who are searching for care might need, and it also helps with your search engine optimization. Now, social media is something that has been around for a while now, but is becoming most important in terms of several of these items. You know, in terms of how things relate together and what Google is seeing, and how they feel that you are ranking in terms of how people are interacting with you. And so you need to at least do Facebook and Google Plus on a regular basis. But again, it is something that needs to be utilized and updated regularly. The other thing is email newsletter is not dead. It is actually very much alive, and if you use an email newsletter correctly, if you house it on your website, if you optimize it for keywords, and if you use the interrelated links from your email newsletter back to other sites and have other sites come to you, then it just makes it even more powerful. And I'm just going to briefly mention online reviews here, because that is something else that people are looking at. We know that when people go online and find an agency, and after they've looked at the website, they are also going to, before they pick up that phone, probably look at some online reviews to see, has anybody taken the time to review that agency, and is there any information that they can get out of those reviews that might be helpful to them in making their decision. I'm going to leave you with, before I turn this over to Marissa, with one big slide here, very busy, but this is the latest information. This is 2016. There are lots and lots of people, 88.5%. We have 300 million people in America, and 88.5% of those people are on the internet at some time or another. And of that, we have a whole lot of them. I mean, almost 200 million of them, so that's 2/3 of them, who are utilizing smartphones. So you've got a lot of opportunities for reaching people, that consumer who's searching for care, but you best be doing it right on the internet. The middle part here, the number one web search term, the number one web search, not term, but the areas people are searching for is health information. So right now, more people are out there searching for health information, and that does include senior care. They are out there searching, and so you really do need to be found when people are searching in order to get those phones to ring. And this is on the right-hand side of this, sort of on, I guess that would be Pennsylvania, coming down to Kentucky. So once they get to your website, they're searching for senior care information, and if they cannot find the information that they think is helpful, then they are going to leave immediately, and that's about 29%. And then 40% are not going to come back to you if their needs are not met. They're going to move someplace else and try to find the answers to their questions and make their decisions, and your agency is not going to be a part of that decision-making process. And what a shame for you. So what we are suggesting, and I think you will agree with me after you hear Marissa, that you need to be spending your time working on the internal component of your business. And at this point in time, because it is so complicated to do all of the things that you need to do in order to be where you need to be in the internet marketing category, in the internet marketing realm, then you need to hire someone who can do it. And honestly, I don't know of a better firm to do it, or anyone that actually has a program like this, or anyone that has the capacity to do what we do other than Core Cubed and our MOST program. So, Marissa, are you ready to talk to us about how our audience can get their phones to ring by utilizing some of the tools that we have in our MOST program?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Marilee. I know that Marilee has sort of shown you the what you need to do. Well, the MOST program is how you're going to do it and make it very, very easy for yourself. Because who has the time to develop all of that content and do all of the fancy schmancy design and keep on top of all of that and your clients at the same time? As Marilee said, it just makes sense to outsource it to a marketing partner that understands the industry. So here's our key statement about what MOST is in a nutshell. It is a affordable marketing system. It doesn't matter whether you have a huge sales force in your agency or if you, as the president of the company, are the sales force. The MOST program has strategies in it that can adapt no matter how long you've been in business as well, whether you're new to the home care arena or you've been in business for 25 years. Everything in the MOST program is branded for your agency, so it looks like it's coming directly from you. And it comes with a strategy. It uses our understanding of the industry. We've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and of course Marilee's experience in the industry stretches even farther back. And an understanding where marketing for home care is headed for the future. There is a lot of change that has happened in the last couple of years and a lot of change that's still coming down the pike. And marketing changes with it. So the MOST program has adapted over the years to fit. Now the MOST program works in a monthly cycle for all of our clients. I always say that you need to start with a strategy. Because we've been developing marketing materials for the MOST program for almost 10 years now, there is a lot to choose from. And starting with a strategy will help get you what I like to say is the most out of the MOST program, because then you are laser targeting what you are ordering to fit that particular strategy. So at the top of the month, our clients log into that online membership portal, and just like an online shopping cart, they're going to pick and select the items that they want to order for that month. And then our team goes and they write the blogs, they brand the materials, they do whatever it needs to be done for the materials that you've ordered. And we get things to you for proofing. If you want to print through our printer, then we do all of the print coordination. So we try to take as much of that busy work of the process out of it as possible for you. And as a MOST member, during the middle of the month or whenever you'd like, you also have the added benefit of accessing our library of past educational webinars. We have had a lot of wonderful people come and speak for us over the years on home care related topics and issues of very much interest. And those are all free as a MOST member for you or your sales team to access. In fact, some of our clients, they hire a new salesperson and they say, here's the webinar library, go check it out. And at the end of the month, your material is delivered. It's posted on your website if you've ordered website materials, or posted on your social media if you've ordered social media materials. If you've ordered print materials, they're at your printer or at our printer. Everything is ready to go for the top of the month. And then we start the process all over again. So it's a monthly ordering process. What are some of the benefits if you follow the MOST program? As a MOST client, we have seen this time and again, so it's not just me speaking off the cuff. We've been doing it for a while, and these benefits are real. You will see more referrals from a wider variety of sources because you will have material that's targeted specifically for them. You will see more client inquiries for service. whether you are focusing on the strategy of reaching consumers through your website or focusing on a strategy of reaching the consumers through referral sources, you will be seeing more client inquiries. When you are ordering web materials from the MOST program, you will definitely see a stronger web presence because you have all of these new opportunities for people to find your website because you're adding fresh, relevant content to it. There will be better name and brand recognition. I can't tell you how many clients have come to me and they say, we've been doing this for 25 years and we have a great reputation, but not everybody knows about us. And this will spread the word about your agency because it's developing your agency as a resource for answers, not just as a service, as a home care service, but as a resource for care questions. And then, of course, the after effect is that they will come to you for services because they see you as the expert. Why do we recommend CoreCube's MOST program? Marilee touched on this a little bit. We are very proud of this program, but we've also been recognized in the industry. We've won lots of awards, which you'll see in just a minute, some of those awards that we've won for the MOST program. But more so than that, our clients are reporting that their phones are ringing more often. People are filling out more of their website inquiries. They're developing more relationships with a wider variety of referral sources, so they're getting more referrals in. And, you know, at the end of the day, I like to say it makes sense and it saves sense because it's affordable and you get your materials really quickly and everything is well researched and very professionally done, and you're getting it for a fraction of the price of what you would pay to have everything done from scratch. It's really a remarkable program. And here are some of the awards that we talked about. We've been winning awards pretty steadily almost since the beginning, and I expect we'll be probably winning some more awards this year for individual materials in the MOST program and for the program as a whole. So what are you going to find in this member center? I've talked about how it's sort of an online shopping cart and how we've got lots of different things. Well, you can see all these little bullet points, but I like to say pretty much whatever you could think of for home care marketing, recruitment, advertising, you're going to see it in the MOST program as a choice. Oftentimes I have clients say to me, do you have a presentation for, do you have a postcard that relates to, and I say yes, yes I do. And the great thing is, if we don't have something that you are recommending or suggesting, we may turn it into a MOST program item, and then you will only pay the MOST program pricing for that rather than custom pricing. Some of the best ideas have come from our clients over the years. So whether you are doing material on your website or presentations or direct mail, we have items in the MOST program for you. So I wanted to go back to developing that strategy because I don't think I can emphasize that enough. Having a strategy, carrying it out, and then measuring it over time is sort of the foundation of good marketing. So going into there, and I'm really going to simplify it, probably oversimplifying it, but first step is to identify your agency's marketing strengths and weaknesses. For example, do you have somebody on staff who can do presentations? If not, then you can stay away from that PowerPoint category for now. Do you have a whole team of people that are going out and meeting referral sources regularly that they need tools to build those relationships with? Well, then you can be ordering print materials for them to hand out. Or are a lot of your clients people who are from out of state and they're calling about their parents who live in state? Florida is a good example of a lot of snowbirds in the winter, and the family members who make the care choices are in Michigan or California or someplace else. Then you can look at the online strategy materials. So identify your agency's strengths and weaknesses. Then identify your best targets. How are you going to best reach that target audience? Is it going to be through blogging, through social media? Is it going to be through presentations? What's going to have the most impact or reach them the best? And then, of course, the last question, what's going to be the most helpful information for this particular target audience. Now, when you're dealing with consumers, it's a little bit trickier of a question because you're using online tools like Google.com Trends and things like that to try and figure out what are the hot topics in home care that if you're putting online content out that people will respond to. And I'll tell you, it changes throughout the year. So Alzheimer's in general, you're always pretty safe right now. It's a hot topic pretty much any time of the year. But January, for example, after everybody has gone home for the holidays, they've seen their parents, they're not doing as well as they thought that they were doing, and so suddenly they're going online and they're looking for, how do I hire a home care agency? What are the warning signs that home care is needed? So having those sorts of things in mind for what's going to be the most helpful information for that target audience is going to help you when you're making selections in the MOST program. And now we're going to do the tricky little switch here. Marilee's going to flip the screen over to me, and I'm going to show you inside of the MOST program. Dun, dun, dun. Marilee, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. You made it.
Excellent. All right. So as a MOST member, you get your own personal login for this wonderful online shopping center. We have lots of resources and tips in here besides the wonderful materials that you can choose from. Let's go into making choices. So I just want to show you how simple it is to make a selection in the MOST program. We have everything here divided by categories. So we've got the holidays coming up. Let's go ahead and look at some of the holiday items. Let's say we're looking at a Thanksgiving card. We can look at some of the designs. Here's some samples. And anywhere you see it says home care, obviously we would change that to be your branding, your logo, your contact information. So here's some samples. Let's go ahead. Yep, we like that. Let's go ahead and order it. Click to order. And yes, we want a card. Here's the price, so you can see what the price is for this piece. We want a horizontal card. And, oh, look, we've got image choices. And we've got text choices. So this isn't your traditional cookie cutter stuff. You have lots of choices within the choices that you can make. And something that I don't know of any other program that offers this on top of this. If you want text edits or if you want something customized or tweaked or changed, yes, you can do that. You just let us know, yes, I have a comment, and you type in your change here, and then we will make that change for you. And then you hit submit. Oops, I said that I have a comment. I need to type in a comment. There we go, and it's in the shopping cart. And you can see it keeps a running tally of what you have in your shopping cart. And I can see that right now I am ordering for November. We order a month ahead of time so that November 1st you have all of your November materials ready to go. So that's how easy it is to make a selection in the MOST program. Now I want to show you some examples of some of the more popular items when you are trying to make the phones ring for consumers. And of course, our e-newsletter is probably number one. A lot of people think that e-newsletters are a thing of the past, but I will tell you, if you have a wonderful content-rich educational newsletter that's not just salesy and it's got up-to-date, interesting information, these can be wonderful tools to reach consumers. And these e-newsletters through the MOST program are just that. And you can order it as just a regular e-newsletter if you don't want to have the blog option, or like this newsletter, you can have it be linked to your blog. So this first article, for example, you get a little taste of what it's about. Click Read More, and voila, we are on this agency's website, and you can see the full article is posted as a blog. And this particular agency has also chosen to have the added options of special keywords placed within the blogs and internal links. These are all great things for SEO. And of course, anytime that Google sees that someone is coming to your website from an e-newsletter, it's sort of a bing, they have interesting information on their website, and they give you bonus points for that. All right, let's show you Facebook. Facebook in the last couple of months or so has sort of changed how things work for businesses on Facebook, and it gets a little bit harder to be seen when you're just doing regular posts. So they're pushing the ads. But I will tell you, the ads work, and they work really well, and they're very affordable. So don't shy away from Facebook just because they've made some changes. This here is an example of a Facebook ad that we did through the MOST program for North River. And I believe this one was a boost post. There's several different types of ads that you can do through Facebook, and a boost post is just one of them. And this one, they just paid $25 to Facebook for the ad, and they reached 835 people. And let's see if we can see how many likes that they got. They had 36 likes, 1 love. Somebody commented. There were 8 clicks through to the website. So, and that was just $25. And you could spend $50, and it would hit a wider reach. So that's just an example. And you can see their blogs are also posting to their social media, because you want to keep that social media chain steady on the post. Right here on the Facebook post section, because even if Facebook has changed the rules, Google is going to be looking to see if you are putting fresh content on the actual page of your Facebook. And the advertisements don't go onto your actual page. They push out to other people's feeds. Okay, enough about Facebook. Let's take a look at some website resources. So these are different flyers and brochures that you can order through the MOST program, and each client's website is unique. So when we post materials onto your website, we are going to fit it within the structure of your website. Again, it's not cookie cutter. We're going to adapt to your needs and your website. You can see, let's go ahead and click on one of these. You can see something that's branded. Oh, this is just information that they've posted. Let's go and look at, here we go. This is a MOST item. This is a MOST brochure. So somebody can download this and print it right from the website, which is a wonderful resource. Now, another way, because these are just PDFs, which are a little bit harder for Google to parse through and see keywords, we also have an option to create web pages with the MOST content. So this client has a MOST flyer as a web page, and all of these keywords are very easy for Google to parse through and scan. And then they also have the option to download the PDF version if somebody wants to print that. And you can see these are all branded. The colors are changed to match with the client's logo and branding. Let's see. I think that's it for the different items that I wanted to show you examples of. But oh, no, I have one more. This is very, very nice. If you are doing email marketing, which I will tell you is the wave of the future, is communicating to clients continuously through email, not just through e-newsletters, but sending them content that fits particular interests that they have. This is a great way to do that. Any of our flyers in the MOST program, and we have hundreds of them, you can order with this setup where you get a little banner on your website that's sort of a teaser ad. And you can post this on social media as well. And it goes to a web page that says, hey, you put your name and email address in here, and we will give you this free copy of this wonderful resource. And after they do that, of course, not only do you have their contact information, but you know exactly what they're interested in. Hey, this person is interested in medication information. So you can target your marketing to them from there on accordingly. All right, back into the MOST program. I think we've talked enough about all the different uses you can have for flyers, but let's go into the social media category. This is something that when you're targeting consumers, You know, in the past few years, we've had people say, oh, you know, you never really get business from social media. Nobody ever says, hey, I found you through Facebook, and that's why I called. But keep in mind, that doesn't mean that they didn't check out your social media and didn't get influenced to make that call because they saw your social media information. So it is an important way to reach out to the consumers. And with how easily it is for people to share content and information across social media, it's a great way to reach new people. So we have lots of different options that you can order through the MOST program. Besides those ads that we took a look at, you can have custom banners that are across the top of your page here. Let me get back to the Member Center. And it's not just about Facebook. We can set up a YouTube account. We can do Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, you name it. There are options to order in the MOST program for that. So just to quickly give one more scan through these categories so you can kind of see the breadth of different types of materials you can order. Videos, another very popular one. I want to go over to the target page. Now, I know we're focusing more on how to reach consumers, but if you bend your mind for me a little bit, you can reach the consumers through the referral sources. If you give helpful content to the referral sources that helps them help their clients, then not only will you develop a wonderful relationship with these referral sources, but they will be sending out your contact information, your educational information to their consumers, to their clients, and that will help make your phones ring. So you can see in the MOST program we have what I like to say are little maps to target specific referral sources. Let's say we want to target oncologists. We'll hit Read More. And you can just, any of these items, just like we saw before, you can just click to order. So we have PowerPoints in here and flyers and postcards, you name it. These are all materials that we think, in our experience, will help when you are targeting oncologists. And as I mentioned before, we've got lots of different strategies, free information and tips in the MOST program, tips that we've collected from our clients over the years on different ways to use the material that you may not have thought about. So that's an added bonus of the MOST program, is being in that community of home care clients around the country that are non-competing. We'll talk a little bit more about that non-competing in just a second. I'm going to switch back to you, Marilee, and we're going to go back to the presentation, talk a little bit about that competition and how special the MOST program is. Right now you are looking at a map of where we currently have MOST clients. This is pertinent because we only offer the MOST program to a very limited number of people in a geographic area. If you live in a big city like Chicago, then obviously we can, due to population, we can have a couple of MOST members there. I will say Chicago is full for the MOST program right now. So if you're looking at this map and you see that your area is lit up yellow and your cities are listed on there, still feel free to contact us and see if we can squeak you in. At the very least, we can put you on a waiting list. I will say that we have had some of our MOST members be with us since 2007. It's a wonderful program, and obviously our clients love it, so sometimes you will be waiting on that waiting list for a while. That just makes it all the more important, if your area is green, to give us a call and secure your area for the MOST program. Pricing, I'm sure, is all sitting on the tops of your minds. What is this going to cost me? The MOST program is $1,000 a month, and there are 2 layers of commitments depending on what you would like to do. We have a 3-month commitment and a 6-month commitment. The 3-month commitment is great for brand new agencies who are looking for, really quickly, they want a host of print materials to use. You do not get access to the MOST Member Center with that login. You make all of your selections with me or another MOST team member. But we will go on a webinar together to look at the materials on a call and place your orders for the 3 months with that option. The 6-month commitment to the Member Center, full access to the webinar library, and with both of these options, you will see it says flexibility and usage of monthly dollars. And what I mean with that is that if you only, you saw in the MOST program that there was different pricing. You saw, I think the e-newsletter, for example, is $300, a postcard is $300, a flyer is $200. So you're going to work up to that $1,000 with the different items that you order within the program. But if you only order $800 out of that $1,000 in a month, then you can save that remaining $200 to use in a future month, or you can use that remaining amount of money for custom needs. Maybe you want a custom advertisement developed or an agency brochure and you want to save some of your MOST dollars towards that. So there's where the flexibility and the usage of the monthly dollars comes in. I really do strongly believe that it is priceless when it comes to results. If you go to the mostforyourmarketing.com, you will see some testimonials from our clients. Very valuable is an audio testimonial from one of our clients who, at the beginning, he said, you know, it was a really big leap for me financially to start spending $1,000 a month on my marketing. But in the end, it was something that I brought, the returns were so huge that it was pittance in the end, the $1,000 a month. And look at your advertising budgets and think about back in the days when you used to do Yellow Pages ads, how much of your budget you would spend towards advertising. And think about turning that around, and instead of having something in one publication, have it printed out on your website for ongoing marketing needs, on your blogs, on your social media, etc. We have a few more testimonials right here that you can take a look at, and then we'll show our contact information. But I'm going to keep this up just for a minute and open it up for questions. So if you have any questions at this time, please type them into that chat box you see at the right of the screen, and we'll get those answered. One thing I don't want to forget to mention, because I get this question a lot, is on printing. Print prices are not included within the MOST program. We do that because a lot of clients, they want to do a small print run. Nobody wants to print 1,000 of a brand new brochure. They want to test it out first. So you can print through your local printer. You can print through an online printer if you'd like. You can get a press-ready file. So printing prices are not included.
Marissa, you have done such a fabulous job of explaining the program. We don't have any questions. We did have one earlier. Oh, I think I just got one. We did have one earlier that asked about getting the PowerPoint information. And what we do is we record this webinar, as Marissa said, and we post it on two places. We post it on our CoreCube.com events page, and we also post it on our Most for Your Marketing website. So you can go after we're finished here. We will post today's webinar, and you can go in and actually not only see this webinar, but lots of other marketing and sales webinars that we've done for many, many years. So we don't give you the printout, but you can certainly access it and give it to give that link or go to our website for anybody that wants to watch this. And we have another question here about pricing. We don't have any other tiers for pricing. This is really it. And we are doing a bare bones pricing because what you get at the pricing we're offering is an amazing bargain. As Marissa said, if you went out and just had one thing done, it would cost you close to what we're charging for multiple items during a month. So I apologize to the small startup agency that doesn't have the money, but we will work for you privately outside of the MOST program through CoreCubed. But anyway, we're doing the best we can is our 3 months pricing. So that's the best we can do for a startup agency. And that is the end of our questions, Marissa. So
Excellent. Well, thank you, everybody, for being with us today. And here is our contact information. So if you think of a question after this call, please feel free to email us or call the phone number. You can check us out on Facebook. We also have lots of archived webinars on corecubed.com/events. Just scroll to the bottom of the page and click the link there, and then you will have some access to those past webinars.
And we will contact you all if you are interested. We just had someone ask us to do that. We'll certainly do that after this call. So, and I again thank you very much for your attention today. It's been a very attentive audience, and we hope that we can work for you in the future. Marissa, thank you. You do such a good job, not only on this webinar, but in running the MOST programs. So,
thank you, Mary.
Thanks, everybody. Hope you are having a wonderful, beautiful, glorious fall day, and we hope to get to work with you. So everybody, have a great rest of your week, and thank you very much for attending today.